Welcome to MMA Main, the best MMA show around the world. My name is Bitey. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, this afternoon, this morning, whenever you're watching it. First of all, let me apologize. Took a little break last week. You know, it was the holiday week. We had Turkey Day and whatnot, so just didn't have enough time to get to the studio, pump out an episode. I'm sorry. I'm especially sorry to all those haters out there, the people that want to get in and chime on and tell me how bad I suck and all this. I'm sorry you couldn't get out there and spread the hate around. Don't worry. You got this episode, and you got a few more coming up. So haters, be ready. Get your comments ready. Let's do it. Bring it to me. I don't care. Haters fuel me. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. So I've got 5 people watching. That includes my dog. I'm going to keep going. That's all that matters. In any case, let's get into this past weekend. We actually had UFC in Seoul, Korea. It was actually a solid card. I enjoyed it. Benson Henderson versus Jorge Masvidal was the main event and goes to a decision. Split decision, which I didn't necessarily agree with. I thought Benson won it fairly decisively. I was really pulling for Jorge Masvidal. That's one of our boys. He follows us on Twitter, so we got to give him a little love. But Benson gets in there, and he does what he does, and he knows how to win fights. I mean, obviously, he's not undefeated, but for the most part, he gets in there, and he finds a way to win. He's not necessarily the most exciting fighter, but I won't say he's the most boring fighter. He got a submission win against Brandon Thatch when he made his UFC welterweight debut not long ago. This one ended up going to a decision, but you can't win them all by a finish. I know Mr. Uncle Dana says don't leave it in the hands of the judges, but when you're at a top tier fighting, as we'll say the UFC is, we'll call them the top tier, you're not going to be able to finish all your fights. You're fighting against the best of the best. Theoretically, you know, that's what we tell ourselves and people tell us. But in any case, Benson gets the W. Congratulations. Don Young Kim did a very good performance. I like Don Young Kim. He's looking good, comes in, gets a finish. But the person I have to say who we have to look out for is Choi. Buho Choi, I think that's how you pronounce his name, comes in fighting a tough opponent. Sam Cecilia, definitely that aggressive, pushes forward, wants to put the pressure on you. I'm not going to say that he's the most dominant fighter in the world, but we don't know where Choi falls in the rankings yet as far as where he's going to fit in and who he gets next. I would like to see him fight a top 10 fighter just to see if he is legit as I think he is. I personally think this is the kid to look out for. I know you got like Sage Northcutt coming up. There's a couple other people, Paige Van Zandt. She's definitely making her rounds. I think this is another one that we want to keep an eye on. We've always got up-and-comers. I mean, at one point, no one knew who GSP was. At one point, no one knew who John Jones was. You know, these were, nameless faces in the hall for the most part. And then they start building their craft and become, I'm not saying this kid's going to be a pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. I'm just saying that I think he's someone to keep an eye on. So we'll see what happens. I would like to see him against a top 10 opponent next. That's all I'm saying. In any case, overall, the event, I liked it. Give it a thumbs up. UFC Fight Pass. If you don't have it yet, check it out. I don't get paid by Uncle Dana, but, you should get it anyway. I think it's a great thing to have if you're a true fight fan. If you're a more of a casual fan, maybe you get it and you become a hardcore fan because of the library that it has and all the older stuff that you may have not seen, whether it's a old UFC pay-per-view, a Pride fight, some WEC stuff, some Strike Force, what have you. You've got it there. And then, of course, all the live content. That's why I really have it. I do like the library, and I do indulge into it from time to time. But primarily, I have it for live events. I like to watch my events live. As I've stated in the past, coincidentally, did not watch this one live. I actually had to wait. I went to bed too late Friday night. I wasn't getting up at 5 a.m. Saturday morning. I just wasn't. I have before when they've had fights in China and stuff, I've gotten up, set the alarm, and woken up and started right at the prelims, or if it's an Australian stuff. This time, I'm like, I just can't do it. So instead of trying to break in halfway through the event, I waited for it to end and then upload as a past fight event in the library and then watch it from that point. And so I watched it later in the afternoon. I still watch it on Saturday, so it's all good. The key to that is staying off of social media so that way you don't get any spoilers. Whether it's fights or your favorite TV show, you just can't get on social media because someone will ruin it for you. That's just the way it is. It sucks. So put your phone away. It's usually your phone. Your computer too, obviously. You can get spoilers on that, but put your phone away. Don't get on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and Vine and every other thing that's on there. So in any case, I'm rambling. Haters, go ahead and say something. Go ahead. Yeah, I don't care. Shut your mouth. Anyways, let's move on. This coming weekend, we actually have a threefer. I got called out the other day. I wasn't spreading the love around enough to all the different promotions, primarily ONE FC. So ONE FC, you're getting the love this weekend. And I have to give love to them because Rich Franklin, man, he follows me on Twitter, a legend. I have to give love to all the major promotions. Not that I wouldn't want to anyway. I just necessarily don't always have time to cover everybody, but I'm for sure getting them in. They actually are having their second event in Cambodia. That'll be this Saturday, so check them out. That's ONE FC. And then Friday night, I started backwards. That's Saturday. And then the previous night before that, Legacy, they're back. They're at Legacy 49. They're going to be at Louisiana, and they have 2 title fights on that fight card. They're going to be doing the welterweight title, and I believe that is Krantz versus Morano, and then they're going to have the women for the flyweight title, and that's Lee versus Beck. So if you're lucky enough and you have Access TV, check it out. Get some free fights. Then, Friday night as well, Bellator 147 in my backyard. I love it. I don't have to travel as much. And I do travel. I live in Northern California, and I live about 75 miles northeast. I live in the East Bay of San Jose. So I don't even consider that traveling. I could drive down there, do the event, hang out, go get dinner, after party, whatever, drive home. It's all good. But I drive to Irvine, Temecula, Long Beach, Reno, Fresno. I go to all these things. If it's in California, I typically hit it up. I'll drive there. Outside of that, it's hard to get there and be able to function and do all that. I just don't have that much time and money quite yet. But hey, you got to work on that. Pretty soon, be traveling the globe, going to everything. I wish. Wishful thinking, right? In any case, Bellator 147, I look very much forward to seeing this. I am blessed and granted with media credentials, and that's why I try to go down there so I could really cover the event, whether I'm doing live tweets, which I do typically on all fights anyway, but then getting able to interview the fighters so I have more content and I can get it out to you guys. You guys can see it. And it's just about spreading the love and getting more publicity out there for the MMA world. And that's what I love doing and meeting all these fighters, and it's awesome, and interacting with all the different Bellator brass, whether it's the cut men or, the public relations people or whatever. And I always meet the coolest people. Every time I go, I always meet someone cool or multiple people cool on Media Row, and I get to see my friends from It's Amazing coming down. I haven't seen them in a while, so shout out to them. We get to hang out. It's been a while since we've seen each other, so they're another media group. They do a podcast, and, much love to them. Speaking of much love, I do want to give a big shout out before I get Mama's Boy Apparel. They've been with me almost since day one. Next week is going to be my 2 years I've been on this journey, and I appreciate all the love and support. So, anyways, rambling like always. Haters, go ahead, say it. Yep, shut your mouth again. Anyways, Bellator 147, Josh Thompson against Pablo Villaseca. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. They're going to be headlining this event, so they are the main event. We have a co-main event with Georgi Karakayan against Daniel Weichel. That's going to be an interesting fight as well. That is at the featherweight division. But let's get back to Mr. Thompson against Pablo. Thompson, this is the hometown hero. He's from San Jose. He trains out of San Jose. He loves fighting in San Jose. He just had a great win less than 3 months ago in San Jose. He fought against Mike Bronzoulis at Dynamite 1. That was their first Dynamite. They hosted it in San Jose. Scott Coker, ex-VP or president, CEO, what have you, of Strike Force. That was based out of San Jose. Thompson was one of his original fighters. So it's nothing but love when you come to town, and it's Coker and Thompson and any of these San Jose cats that have been fighting for a long time. And Josh Thompson has been fighting for a long time. Not only has he seen the best of the best in his division, but he's been fighting for a long time. Pablo, 10-1. He does have some jiu-jitsu, but Thompson, he's never been finished. Other than by Yves Edwards, he did some crazy flying kick to his head. That was like 10 years ago. Other than that, his only losses are decisions, and a lot of them are split decisions. So I would have to go with Thompson on this one. If you want to make a safe bet, I think Thompson's the way to go. Although it's fighting, anything can happen, and we obviously saw that just a couple weeks ago with Holly Holm against Ronda Rousey. After watching that fight, I can never say that I feel 100% certain on something going the way that I expect it to. So in any case, we'll get to see Josh Thompson headline this main card here in San Jose for Bellator 147. I'm very excited to see it. And like I said, I don't have to travel so much, so that's great. Although, whatever. If it's in California, I'm more or less willing to drive to go see it. Next week's big, we're going to have a lot of fights. We'll be talking about that with the UFC 3 for. There's also some other stuff going on. You know what I do want to touch about real quick, though? Titan FC, they need to get their stuff together. They're trying to come up and be in this, grooming promotion where you can start grooming other fighters to go to bigger leagues, whether it's UFC or Bellator, this, that, and the other thing. They haven't even posted anything on their website since like the end of October. It's been well over a month, probably going on close to a month and a half. My website is more up to date than theirs, and I'm a one-man band. You know what I'm saying? I do everything myself. You're telling me you can't update your website? Come on, guys. Bruh, update your website. I was on there. I try to look at all the major promotions before I do any show to make sure I'm not missing anything, whether it's Legacy, Titan, RFA, Invicta, ONE FC, World Series of Fighting, Bellator, UFC. I know there's other things out there too, but those are the major 8 that I can think of. I always try to look at those and see what they got coming up. Titan hasn't even been doing anything. They don't have anything scheduled that I can see. They haven't even updated their website. The last big thing they announced was Rick Hahn retiring, and that was back in October that they talked about. Their last event was in September. So, just saying, not trying to hate on them. I'm just saying, update the website. Invicta FC, they're a little slow on updating their website as well. I mean, both those companies are fairly decent-sized promotions. They have to have some type of media or website moderator that does this stuff. So in any case, I appreciate everyone following, watching the show, giving me the love and support. And to all you haters out there, I love you too. Keep bringing the hate. I don't care. I am fueled by haters. One more time. Exactly. Anyways, thank you for watching. Have a great night. Peace out.